Hey guys, Sin down here. This is going to be my chapter review to My Hero Academia 192 or Boku no Hero Academia 192, the Todoroki household. Now the chapter starts with us seeing Endeavor after having been patched up by surgeons and the old nurse lady from UA. You know, she smacks him with a kiss and he's fine. And it turns out that our boy Endeavor hasn't lost his eye, he hasn't lost his left eye, but he has been left with a huge scar up the left side of his face. Something I'm actually really surprised by because High End looked like he had completely just ripped through every part of the left side of Endeavor's face, up from his lip all the way through his eye. I thought, and it turns out somehow his eyes managed to survive that ordeal, even though the gash looks deep enough that the eye would have been cut. I don't know, but his eye is fine. That's all we need to know. So good for Endeavor and good for the future of his hero career. So we go back to our buddy cop film with Hawks and Endeavor, with Hawks showing his sarcastic concern for Endeavor's health. However, Endeavor says he's still suspicious of the fact that no one knew exactly where they were in the city that they just arrived in on that day, something which really amplifies the guilt felt by Hawks because he knows exactly how the Noman knew where to go. And Hawks tells us in his mind that he purposefully amped up the citizens of the city while he was talking to them with Endeavor so that they would post up what they were doing on social media and be like, oh my god, Endeavor's here, and like stuff like Hawks is here as well. So really he provided this information to the League of Villains, and High End was easily able to find them because of that. Now, as they walk, Endeavor kind of tells Hawks he should be careful with his further investigations, just in case another Nomu of that level pops up. And Hawks is amused by Endeavor's consideration, is kind of his concern. But there's also some guilt there too, I felt, and we see kind of a small flashback to Hawks as a kid. But before that, we see Hawks talking to that lady and man from the last chapter. I think they must have been like the higher echelon among the police or among the heroes, and he's at this point he's kind of realized that he's a very, very quick minded fellow. So at this point Hawks kind of knew straight away that he didn't really have the option to accept the proposal they were making to him, as in you have to be a double agent for the heroes. It was more like, we're proposing this to you and you kind of have to do it. That's kind of what the gig was. So we then see Hawks as a kid and why he was kind of why he's been kind of really hyped up over these last few chapters since we saw him first, really. And it was when he was a child where he was recognized for his talent because he saved a family during a high-speed collision, and it was going at like 130 kilometers per hour. So he was able to fly beyond that speed and then save like 5-6 people from a high-speed collision. And this is where he was kind of, the higher echelon saw exactly what he did, and they were like, we need to train this guy up because he's got the talent, he's got the ability, we just need to give him kind of the push and the direction to take him where we want him to go. So, and it turns out one of these higher-ups provided support for his family and for himself, allowing Hawks to kind of get to where he is today. So we see that Hawks then accepted the job of a double agent, saying that corrupting himself while putting everyone else at ease is something that he's fine with. And his inner motivation really is to move the age into an era of peace as quickly as he can, so that heroes really don't have anything to do. They can just stroll around the streets and go back to sleep. So the next scene we have is Endeavor meeting his kids at their home, with even Shoto being there, courtesy of Aizawa. I mean, I think he just drove him there. He's like, yeah, go see your dad, and just kind of be the son that he needs you to be. So Fuyumi is trying to make this whole occasion as wholesome as possible, but both Shoto and Natsu do a really poor job of hiding their feelings for Endeavor, especially Natsu, who actually gets up to leave with Endeavor stopping him and telling him to voice his problems. You know, he's like, if you got an issue, just tell me about it. I'm not going to say anything, I'm not going to do anything, just tell me what your issue is. And obviously Natsu has a whole bunch of issues, and he lets Endeavor know exactly how he feels about not having been looked at since he was born, or since it was found out what his quirk was, since he was kind of deemed a failure. And since like basically talking about the neglect that him, his sister and his older brother would have felt, and how he feels about the fact that he didn't even know his younger brother Shoto's favorite food was soba until now. So he's kind of saying that like all this neglect that you've had us go through, and then you even neglected us from our younger brother, who was the kind of the pinnacle of both quirks and stuff like that. And I didn't even know what his favorite food and stuff like that was. So it's really like he's just talking about how the familial bonds have all been tampered with just because of Endeavor's kind of obsession trying to get this balance between the quirks. So he goes on to tell Endeavor about how his mom and Fuyumi are open to forgive Endeavor, but he still sees his dad as the cruel, crazy bastard he's always been. He's obviously seeing that he doesn't believe that there's going to be a change in him. But the key part here was that Natsu says something happened to their big brother Touya. Now, who is Touya? I've not seen Touya before, and I swear we saw before that there were 3 kids before Shoto, but I swear they all had white hair. I can't really remember. And so really, it's what happened to Touya. Is anybody thinking that he's Dabi? Because everybody's gonna be thinking he's Dabi, right? He's gotta be Dabi. I'm thinking right now that Touya is Dabi. That's the only way I see this going forward. So Natsu screams at Endeavor, saying it's disgusting how he's having a change of heart so randomly, trying to one-sidedly kind of pop back into the lives he's neglected for so many years. And all Endeavor can really say to this is, bruh, I'm trying to atone for my sins, and I'll face my past head on. There's nothing he can do more than that. He knows he can't just say I'm sorry and then expect them to forgive him because of that. So with this, Natsu runs away, and Fuyumi is left wondering what will happen to her image of their family. So Shoto mentions that he has never seen Natsu get so emotional before, suggesting kind of this interaction with his dad is already bringing about change within the family and between their kind of bonds, even if it's negative at first. You know, he's just letting it all out, letting out all that negativity to replace it with positivity. But then again, Shoto hasn't really seen much of Natsu at all in his life, so maybe his observation isn't too accurate. I mean, his brother didn't even know that soba was his favorite food, right? So how could he know how many times Natsu's lost his cool or anything like that? So then on the TV, it's on a news channel, and we see people are voicing their concerns about Endeavor, saying how he just barely beat the Nomu, and he wasn't even really even able to capture the perpetrators, the League of Villains behind it. So we then see that the Endeavor fanboy is once again questioning the thinking of the masses hyping up Endeavor, and in fact, his small stand for Endeavor during the fight with the Nomu has given him quite a bit of popularity, earning him the nickname of Kanchi-si-kun. Now, as the news talks about how everyone cheered for Endeavor at that point because of this Kanchi-si-kun guy, they mentioned that the age of Endeavor has arrived. So this is where Shoto kind of takes the front wheel in their relationship, and he tells Endeavor that as a hero, he's amazing, he's one of a kind, he's remarkable. But as a parent, he still has a lot of work cut out for him, and we all know that that's the issue that Endeavor is facing right now. And Endeavor then thinks on what All Might told him about why they're equipped with the powers they have. Now, this part of the chapter was really, really weirdly translated, and I'm not sure if I was the only one that misunderstood it, but let me try and get this out. So the way this was written made it sound like All Might said the reason for power was to reign above them all, which sounds like a very all for one kind of thing to say, and maybe a very kind of past kind of Endeavor kind of thing to say, and it's not really a very All Might thing to say at all. So, and then that reign above them all thing, he says, he said it makes it sound like All Might said that, which made Endeavor then want to secure a future for the kids and for his kids. And I was like, that doesn't really add up. This all seems really, really broken and disjointed. I'm not sure what the translation is, but it just looks really wrong on this page. I'm not sure what you guys thought, but let me know what you guys thought, because I'm really not sure if this was a weird translation. But I'll have to wait until the Jaimini's box translation is put up to see what exactly happened there. Maybe they might translate it a little bit better, or maybe I just misunderstood something. So Endeavor then thinks of the futures he stole, of the woman he made go crazy, his wife, and he realizes that it's now too late to say so. What? He realizes it's now too late. It's too late now to say sorry, but he's adamant that he must atone for his sins, and he apologizes to Fuyumi and says he spoke the wrong words to Natsu. Obviously, he should have said something a little bit more, probably not tender, but a little bit more in terms of considering how Natsu feels for him, because he knows that Natsu has some harsh feelings towards him. So we then go to Deku, who after a long day, he falls asleep on his bed after having exerted himself trying to use his quirk and trying to control it. However, he has a dream about the previous users of One For All, the previous wielders of One For All, and he sees the original wielder against his older brother, All For One. And All For One asks his younger brother to join him on his mission, whatever that was, I've forgotten what it is, while the younger brother says that everything his older brother is doing is wrong. So where will this take us? That's how the chapter ended, by the way. He's just like, everything you're doing is wrong. I'm going to stand against you because everything about you, every fiber of your being is just going the wrong way. So I'm not sure where this is going to take us, what we're going to learn from this, whether this will unlock a part of One For All that Deku couldn't use before, and now he'll be able to use it, something like that. But I'm assuming we'll learn something from the past, and maybe it'll tie in with Shigaraki or something like that. But it seems like the Endeavor storyline is over for now, so we should be moving forward into the next part of the story, and maybe into the next part of the One For All quirk and what exactly Deku can use it for. So let me know what you guys thought of this review. Let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in a bit.